Shady Palms was its name. A family-owned retirement home that had been up and running since the late 70s. It's trademarked by its vibrant colors, lush gardens, decadent food, and the pool. The old folks really liked the pool. They were also one of the few retirement homes that could boast that they own beachfront property, which plenty of residents enjoyed. Most days, you'd find folks by the sea reading a book, jogging on the shore, or falling asleep in a fold-out chair, only to be scorched by the sweltering Floridian sun. The simple pleasures of the beach aren't the only thing they offer. There's also a small recreational area where folks can read, hold clubs, play bingo, all that shit. I'm in my early 20s and desperate for money. I figured that a place like this for a fresh medical student would be an easy way to make money. Besides, working at an assisted living place would be great on a resume. As it turns out, things got way more complicated than I expected. Not in a "I saw people I liked pass away" sort of thing. When you're going into senior care, you've got to prepare to say goodbye. It's a harsh reality, but it's true. What complicated things was what came out while I worked the night shift. Something I'm still not sure what to make of. My job was the same as everyone else's when it came to senior aid: prep the beds, clean the rooms, make sure everyone is comfortable, and so forth. The late shift is a position that everyone was expected to do at least once every few weeks. It was just a daily rotation of who was unlucky enough to stay up and deal with some of the old folks. It'd be 2 people in the reception area awaiting any late night calls or, God forbid, emergencies. Most of the time, it was just staying up late until the morning staff dismissed you. Since we've got a pretty big staff, I can say that I've only ever been on late shift twice during my time there. I never minded it, and from how people grumbled about it, you'd think they'd been in a war. Fucking waste of time, a guy named Will told me. All they do is sleep, so let's let them sleep. Then, when our boss, an authoritative figure by the name of Beulah, heard his little spat, she promptly fired him. She had zero tolerance for staff who had disdain for their job. Beulah was a sweetheart when I worked under her, but she ran a very tight ship. Her reasoning is understandable. Her grandfather was in a senior home before he passed, and it wasn't until they examined the body that they found the bruises all over his legs and back. Evidently, one of the orderlies had a disdain for him due to his wetting the bed, and promptly beat him with his own cane. If there's even the tiniest bit of resentment from one of the orderlies, she nips that shit in the bud, and I honestly don't blame her. It was Sunday when I got the call that I'd be covering the late shift for this week, but this time around, I'd be doing it alone. Evidently, Greg, whose name was drawn for tonight, was down with the flu. Nobody else could fill in due to other obligations, which was just a vague excuse not to work the late shift. I didn't mind, though. I just got a small stack of books for the coming week to keep myself entertained. I'd watch stuff on my phone, but I don't want to wake anyone up, and I don't want to put in headphones either, because what if someone calls the desk in the middle of the night? I wasn't taking any chances. I had taken with me Demeter by Blatty, Weave World by Barker, The Orchard Keeper by McCarthy Amp, most ironically, Night Shift by King. As for drinks, I got a pack of cold brew iced coffees, the tall ones in cans. Night 1 wasn't anything special. Got 2 calls. One from Herschel McCoy complaining about Thomas Hatfield's TV being too loud, so I played mediator and tried to get them to both come to an agreement. After that petty squabble, they were silent for the rest of the night, thankfully. Night 2 was when it started. I was halfway through Demeter when I got sleepy. I rubbed my eyes and lay my head down over the desk. I heard waves lapping outside, rising and crashing. I don't know how long I was out, but I was suddenly jolted awake by a phone call coming from Maud Wells. I know we're meant to be fair and kind to the folks who stay here, but Maud was such a gigantic bitch. She wouldn't admit it, but I think that even Beulah hated her. I creased the page and laid the book down. I braced my ears for shouting, and I picked up the phone. "Hello, Mrs. Wells, is everything all right?" There was nothing at first. I waited for a response, and I thought that maybe she had just accidentally called me. I was about to hang up when her shrill voice spoke up in a whisper. "Claire." "Yes. There's someone in my room." Now, mind you, I've been at the front desk this whole time and saw no one enter or leave. Also, I didn't think I was asleep so long that someone could have just snuck in. Yet, I'd never heard her sound this nervous. When she spoke, and she spoke often, she would talk loud and slow, as if accosting a rude child. This time, she was timid and somewhat frightened. Before I could say anything, she said, with a quivering voice, "It looks like you." "I'm sorry. This person looks, oh my God, Mrs. Wells, are you feeling nauseous or having any headaches?" "God damn it, Claire," she said in a hoarse whisper, "just come in here, please." I hung up the phone and ran to her room. Her room is on the far side of the building, so I was sprinting towards her. As I stomped down the halls, I heard a brief scream followed by a sickening noise. Like a pound of flesh getting tenderized by a hammer, thump. I pushed on until I reached the room, and that's when I saw something run out into the hall. It looked like a person was sprinting out of there. They slid on the floor before they quickly got back to their feet. They were wearing nothing but black clothes from head to toe. "Hey!" I shouted, but they were already gone by the time I reached the corner of the hall. It's like when they turned right, they just vanished. I ran back to her room and flicked on the lights. To say I was shocked was an understatement. Her eyes were swollen shut like there were 2 oversized grapes over her eyes, fresh blood spattered her pillow, and her nose was bent in a position that didn't seem possible. She was gargling blood while she was gasping for air. "Can't see, Claire, I can't see." I called 911 immediately and alerted the other staff about what happened. I, as well as the other staff, was pretty shaken up after the whole thing. The police took notes, got interviews, and even reviewed security footage. They saw the same person dashing from Mrs. Wells' room, but it was all blurry. Shady Palms may be up to date with most of our equipment and technology, but unfortunately, the one thing we needed to update was our cameras. We had only a handful, and they hadn't been changed out since the mid-2000s. Say what you will about VHS, but they were at least clear, as fuzzy as it might be. The early digital cameras that we had were absolutely abysmal in terms of quality. There was just a black blur moving from hallway to hallway. They never got footage of where it went. The police stayed for the rest of the day to investigate the area, looking for any and all pieces of evidence they could gather. Sadly, the only piece of DNA they could find was Mrs. Wells' own blood. I was called in for questioning that morning, and they assured me it was just a formality. I had a rock-solid alibi, and the cameras backed it up. When I returned home, I blacked out and didn't dream. I was awoken by my alarm that read night shift. I groaned and called Beulah, and despite understanding why I might be hesitant to return to Shady Palms, but told me, imagine what it must be like for them. Someone attacked Maud in the middle of the night, and you expect them to get a good night's rest. I know you're just one person, but sometimes one